Hello everyone, Stephen from the Maple Auto Works YouTube channel here. Today we've got a video on our next project. I don't know what to think about it. I think it'll be a fun project. I'm a little sick, so if I sound a little funny, my apologies. A little while back, Kelly and I were trying to figure out our next kind of antique platable project, and I've always wanted an antique platable Ford Ranger, so we went and picked up this unit. So this is a 1984, I believe. It was originally a 2.8 liter, whatever that is, manual transmission truck. It's dirty, it's rusty, it needs some work. We're gonna learn how to do some body work, I guess. We'll fix that up. I've always liked this generation of Ranger. I like the appearance of the dash. We'll fix all this up, make it look a little prettier. The whole idea with this build here is actually we're gonna try and do it a budget build LS swap. So I actually have a 6 liter in the shop over there that we're probably just gonna do a cam and some nitrous on it kind of thing. I believe that'll be a fun unit. Well, we got to find a box for it. We're not too concerned about it. Mirrors aren't the greatest. I don't know, it needs lots of work. You can see it's a Bondo bucket, but we'll get her running, get that turd out of there. The transmission's still in it. Yeah, so we're gonna get this thing in the shop so we can get working on it, and I'll show you guys the 6 liter we got. Okay, so this is the 6 liter that we were able to pick up. We actually got this engine for free. It's out of I believe a 2009 GMC Yukon hybrid 6 liter. It's got 243 heads. I did a little research on them. By the sounds of it, they're just a little bit higher compression than most 6 liters, but they're detuned and the cam in it is really weak. So if you put a cam in it, they're supposed to be pretty stout engines. It is aluminum block, so that's nice lightweight, I guess you could say. Kind of the idea is we got to figure out what's wrong with the engine. The reason we got it for free is it had an intermittent low oil pressure. Now, I don't think the engine's hurt. We're going to find out in this video and see if it's something catastrophic, if it's a bearing that's wiped, or maybe it's just an oil pump issue. But the gentleman that had this engine didn't want to waste any time tinkering with it. He took the oil pan and the timing cover off himself just to see if he could figure something out, and he opted to just change the engine over. So he just gifted it to us. Yeah, so this is how we got it. Intake, water pump. That truck's not going to have air conditioning, so I'm not too concerned about that. Otherwise, we got ignition coils already. That's plus. So as for our budget, this is $0. The Ranger out there, we've got $800 into, including fuel and purchase price and all that stuff. So we're running $800 right now. I'm going to try and keep a tally of how much we spend and where we find parts and stuff, because we still have to find a computer for this. I'm going to build a wiring harness myself, try and keep the dollar value down. We might try a Temu wiring harness, just see how they work, I guess. But yeah, that's her. We'll do a time-lapse video of us taking it apart. Okay, so Kelly's got the cylinder heads taken off of this thing now. You can see a little debris fell into it, but there's no like excessive scoring or anything like that in cylinders. You can still see the cross hatching marks. Looks pretty good there. We checked all the cylinders. They look pretty good. All of them look pretty clean. A couple of the lifters were a little tight in the bores, but not super concerned about that. I also cut open the oil filter. had a look in the filter pleats for any metal, you know, any bearing damage or anything like that. And I think we're good. I don't think I didn't see any metal in the filter that I should be alarmed about. So let's hope for the best on this one. I think this engine will be pretty stout. Apparently it was a very low mileage 6 liter. So we'll see. Okay, so Killy's got the engine all disassembled. Well, not completely, but we took one of the connecting rod caps off. This looks fantastic. I'm very happy with this. The bearings look near new. I'm not too concerned about that. I don't think that's going to be an oil pressure issue at all. Even the crank looks perfect. Trying to get a good light in there. We looked at the backside of the pistons. Everything looks good that way. No cylinder scoring or anything to be alarmed with. I don't even think I'm going to take one of the main caps off. I don't think it's anything to be concerned about. I believe I found the oil pressure issue. Somebody has put a new oil pump on this. I found a couple issues with this engine after we took it apart. If you look at the cam plate here, it's really hard to see, but the gasket is actually blown out in that area there and right in that area. And this right here is actually an oil gallery. So this right here would be leaking oil. So you won't build as much oil pressure here as you should. I noticed somebody's opened this engine. This is a brand new oil pump on it. I'm gonna take it apart and just make sure all the, I think it's called vanes and everything inside look good and not worn. But I just looked through the pickup tube hole and I don't see any scoring or anything on the walls. If we go to our pile of parts over here, I also found a couple of these push rods that are worn. This one, for example, you can see the end of it. It's actually not round anymore. It's flattened off and it's a little shiny there. That is a worn push rod. That's no good. So we're going to do a couple push rods, a couple rocker arms. Well, actually, we're going to replace all the push rods because we've got a Texas speed cam there. We've got push rods. We've got springs. Yeah, should be a fun little build once we're done. And I guess I forgot to mention, the cam bearings all look fantastic. This is not a brass right here. This is actually just the oil staining on it from the engine being sat for the last, whatever, 2 years I've had it with no oil, or with the old oil sitting in it. I can wipe it off. You can see I wipe portions of it off just to make sure everything looked good. Obviously, you can see the bottom side where the cam actually rests on it. It looks pretty good. There's no scoring, nothing for me to be alarmed about. I think we're just gonna put a cam in it, fix those issues that we found, new chain and guides, and we're gonna put this engine back together and get her in the Ranger. So we got the truck in the shop now. Disregard that price. We didn't pay $1,000. I think we paid 700. I don't know. It's a little rough. We're working now. We're gonna get all this mess of a wiring harness out of it, all the factory stuff. We don't care for any of it. All we want to keep is the light wiring. Everything else can come out of here. It's going automatic, so we can remove the clutch master. The transmission obviously has to come out. I don't know. We might see if we can just pull the front fenders and everything off, or we'll just drop that engine in and see where it kind of fits. We'll see. We're also going to remove that battery tray because we're going to probably mount the battery in the box of the truck. Other than that, the interior needs a good clean. So this is our before of our interior. Once Kelly's done cleaning it, I'll get another after shot and see how well she can clean it up. Kelly and I have finished pulling the wiring harness off the passenger fender. We started doing some of the harness on this side of the truck. We got the 6-liter all torn apart. We figured out kind of what we need for parts. We're going to have to order a couple items for that. We still have to remove the power steering system out of it. We'll just be using the GM power steering pump. We got to remove the transmission, drive shafts, and so on and so forth. But that's it for this weekend. Hopefully next weekend we'll be able to get the transmission and everything out, and maybe the 6-liter back together. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.